Hey guys, GameZack here, and welcome to how to install Morrowind Overhaul, Morrowind Rebirth, and Tamriel Rebuilt into Morrowind and make them all compatible with each other. So we all know why we're here, so let's get right into it. The first thing I do have to tell you is, before you mod vanilla Morrowind, make sure you move your character into a small interior location, like a house or even like inside the Mages Guild or something like that, because I found problems loading up an old save when, from a save from vanilla Morrowind to after modding, and loading exteriors can sometimes overload the software and crash the game. So move your character into an interior location, save the game, and then we can get on with this. So step number one after that is to download all the three things that you need. So you can see here I have Morrowind Overhaul 3.0, Morrowind Rebirth, and Tamriel Rebuilt is actually 2 files. The data is separated, so technically 4 files here. And if you're wondering what Apel Rain Replacer is, it's because personally I find the rain, even after all of these mods, the rain looks a bit artificial, and a little flat, so I find this to be a very nice rain replacer. It's optional, but I'm gonna include that here anyway. So the first thing you have to do is extract all the Morrowind Overhaul files into the install directory. So here you can see I have a clean installation of Morrowind. I just installed it through Steam, so it's at my Steam install directory. So I'm just going to open up MGSO here, grab all of these files. Oh, I missed one there. Grab all of these files and drop it into the install directory, and then we'll get all of this going. Okay, there we go. We've got the files in, and these are the Morrowind Overhaul files. So we're going to go ahead and run MOInstaller. And in case it doesn't by default, make sure you run it as administrator, but it should work here. So here we go. This is going to be the installation of Morrowind Overhaul, and you can basically just follow the on-screen instructions. And you want to make sure all of these notifications are green and yes and okay and installed, because for example, UAC might not be disabled at the start, and you can go ahead and press this button and it'll basically do things for you. But a lot of these steps do need you to restart. And also, just as a note, if you're on Windows 10, disabling UAC can cause some problems with other things, so you'd want to re-enable that later, but we'll get to that. So we'll go ahead and click next here, and it checks your graphics card, make sure things are up to date, and after each of these steps, it's going to ask you to restart your computer. You can see this next updating DirectX and restart your computer, so it's going to be a lot of install this, restart, so it might be a little tedious, but you have to do it. Even here, Visual C++, again, install it, make sure it says it's okay. This text should be green, if anything, and we'll keep next here. .NET frameworks, make sure they're installed as well, and again, restart if necessary. And then we're gonna go here and we have to extract the files. And now you can click here, back up my vanilla Morrowind installation. It's not important, I mean, you don't have to do this, but you can do this. It will take longer if you do it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it here. And all you have to do is press extract files, and it's gonna say it needs how much space. Yep, no problem, we're gonna say yes. And the installer is backing up your Morrowind folder. This will take a while, please wait. So this is probably gonna take some time, so we'll just skip ahead while this loads. And there we go, it just finished extracting, and here we're gonna go ahead and select our PC power. So this is just a slider based on how fast your PC is. So you look at the specs here, make sure it fits basically what your computer is. So since my computer is pretty decent and matches these specs or greater, then I'm gonna set it to very fast PC. Go ahead and click next there. And now the installers automatically registered the needed BSA archives in the INI. This is gonna be another step. You just click next as it keeps going. So because I've already done this before, that one was already done. But now on to the code patch. So let's go ahead and launch the code patch. This is gonna be a list of things that you can turn on and off. Now there's there's basically just one thing that we have to do. So basically you read through all of this stuff: rain, snow, collision, bump, reflect, lighting, and all of that. You turn on everything that you want. But the one thing that you do need, make sure, since we're installing Tamriel Rebuilt, there's this map expansion for Tamriel Rebuilt. This has to be on if you're going to be making all of this compatible. So make sure that's on, and then you read through all of this by yourself and see what you want to turn on and off. Like down here you can see Fog of War fix, calendar fix, disable map smoothing, high def cutscene support. Some of these things you want on, some of them you want off. It's really a personal preference thing. Like arrow enchanting, do you want arrow enchanting? That's, the Argonian clothing choice. notice each time you click on something, it will describe what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the ones I want here, and we'll just skip ahead till I'm done with that. Alright, there we go. I've turned on the ones that I want and left the ones that I don't want off, and we're going to go ahead and click Apply Chosen Patches, and it's going to go ahead and start doing that. It shouldn't take too long. There we go. Patch succeeded. Now we got to launch Morrowind to execute a program and automatically change the needed value. So let's go ahead and launch that. And this is actually going to take control of the mouse. See, I'm not actually touching the mouse right here. It takes control of that and does it by itself, and then it returns mouse control once it's done. Then we got to do the launch exe optimizer. So let's go ahead and do that and follow on-screen instructions, and the mouse and keyboard will be disabled at some installation steps. So this is something that some people find annoying, but it has to be done. Here you go. My mouse is not, the control was taken away. It's just been given back here. Please close this pop-up, choose your Morrowind installation folder, then click confirm OK with that. So I'm going to go ahead and select my installation folder here. Alright, there it is, my Morrowind installation folder. Select that and press OK. And then it's gonna do more things. There we go, mouse control has been disabled again. And I can't, see, I'm trying to move the mouse right now, nothing's happening. It's just stuck there. So now it's gonna just start patching and doing things. And basically, some of these steps where it takes control of the mouse, it can take a long time to do. So, you know, if it's taking an amazingly long amount of time, then you can go ahead and make yourself a coffee or something like that. But there we go, that didn't take too long. Now, here's an important point. Launch the MGSO options. And this is going to launch up the options you can choose for Morrowind Overhaul. And we got to choose carefully. So things which are red will take a large hit on your computer. Green will take a smaller hit. But because we're trying to make things a little bit more to work with everything. So what you have to do for all of this, because we're going to install Rebirth and Rebuild after this, you change this to custom mod. All of these custom mods, set them all to custom mod. Turn off the grass in Solstheim and make sure you leave animated Morrowind off, because Morrowind Rebirth is going to add buildings and stuff. So animated Morrowind adds these extra characters. So sometimes these characters would be inside or halfway inside a wall or something like that with the other mods. So we leave that off, and then you can turn all of this to custom mods and no grass, and leave this as is like that. So that's basically all you have to do. Besides that, you can change certain things. I like leaving it at realistic dark, because when you go into a sewer with no lights, you shouldn't be able to see anything. It adds a reason to have night eye spells as well. User interface, I like it vanilla, and it's all just preferences. I mean, better bodies, that's also a certain thing. Sometimes you don't want better bodies, because you might find the underwear or better bodies mod too smooth and too clean. So that's always an option. But basically, this is the important stuff here. And once you've got what you want, like I don't like these, right? Just go ahead and click up. This is also, leave it to MGEXE, best looking version. Gonna go ahead and click apply here. And it's just gonna apply these options. And here we go. There we go. I'm done, bro. And it takes control of the mouse again. It's doing something by itself. There we go. And now we got to launch the Morrowind launcher, and everything will be automated. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, it takes control of the mouse. It's going to do things here. And there we go. Now how to disable overlay. This is something, if you're using the Steam version, you want to disable the Steam in-game overlay. So you can click on that and it'll tell you how. We're going to go ahead and go next, and then we got to run mlocks here. So let's run mlocks, and it's again doing stuff by itself. Mouse control has been disabled, and it's basically just going to sort the load order so things actually run properly. Here we're going to run the 4 GB patch. We're going to go ahead and do that. Again, it's doing things by itself, and there we go. And all of that looks good. We're going to go ahead and click next. And then manual configuration. So we can tweak options here. In this window, we can tweak some of the options manually. So we can have a look here and see if we want to change anything. And basically, the main thing that you want to change is show FPS counter. Turn that off. You know, we don't want that to be there. And besides that, everything, you can tweak it, but if you don't know what you're doing, then you don't have to. The only thing that you should turn off is that, unless you want the FPS counter. But I don't like having a constant FPS counter, and you want to turn this off. Press OK there. We can go next, and then we got to run MGE and use that. Yes. And again, this is going to take control of the mouse, and it's going to do things by itself until it asks for your screen resolution. So let's go ahead and enter in our screen resolution. I'm running at, let's see, where is it? 1920 by 1080, press OK, and then select the folder where you would have your screenshots saved. I'm just going to put them on the desktop. And then it's doing things by itself here. And there, it's going to start loading all of this stuff. And it's just going to process it. It can take a little bit of time. But yeah, you just, when it's doing these automated things, it's going to just do it by itself. All right, there we go. Congratulations, Morrowind Overhaul. Sounds and graphics were successfully installed. You can now play without problems. Sometimes not always true. All right, so now that that is done, we're going to go ahead and get to the other things that we need to do. So for example, the Rebirth and Tamriel Rebuilt. So we're now going to go ahead and do the Rebirth files. So let's open up Rebirth here and 4.0. And basically all you need to do for this is to drag the data files into your install directory, and you want to merge the folders, but you do not want to overwrite the files. Let's go ahead and drag data files into here, and it's going to start processing this. All right, here it's going to ask whether you want to replace the files or skip these files. You want to skip these files. Do not overwrite any of the files. So let's go ahead and skip those. And it's going to copy in the new files and just merge them into the data files there. So that's going to be good for that. And then we're going to go to the Tamriel Rebuilt stuff. So let's go ahead and open up Tamriel Rebuilt. Going to have the data files again. And we're going to drag this over and do the same thing. Now that's done, and we're also going to grab this tr file patcher.jar and just drop it in there as well. And then we're going to open up the actual Tamriel Rebuilt stuff, and we want to just grab all of this. We'll grab the docs as well, because we might need to read something. We're going to grab, actually no, these are into the wrong folder, sorry. These, where are they? Should be going into the data files as well, because these ESM ESP files should be in your data files, because that's where those go. And under docs, there's going to be a README file. And this README file, let me just bring it on over here. Under installation, you have to, there we go, registering the game BSA, you have to do this. So let's go ahead and find the Morrowind.ini files, which should be in the Morrowind install directory. So let's just see if it should be here somewhere, Morrowind.ini. There we go, it should be this one, right? The configuration settings. So let's open that with Notepad, and we'll bring this over here as well. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, the last section, and go to the top of the last section, we're gonna see this, archive 012. Now, according to this, you want to add this into this section here, but the numbers don't quite make sense. So you want 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You just want it in order like that, because this is gonna add in the Tamriel Rebuilt stuff into the archives there. And we can just go ahead and save that. There we go, Control S, and that's pretty much all it needs to be done here. Now, we need to open up the Morrowind launcher. So let me just go ahead and grab that off of Steam. We're going to press play here from Steam, and it's going to bring this up. We're going to open up the data files, right? And we need to activate certain things and turn off certain things. So what you want to do is turn off the texture fixes. So you see this texture fix 2.0 and texture fix Blood Moon, turn that off. You want to turn off poorly placed objects and turn off Morrowind patch 1.6.5. You want to turn off those 4 things, and you want to turn on the Tamriel Data, the TR mainland, and both of these Morrowind Rebirth things. And as a note, you want to, let's see, down here, Morrowind Rebirth, you want to turn that on. Anything Morrowind Rebirth you want to turn on, but these two, TR Preview and TR Travels, you want to leave off. There's another Morrowind Rebirth thing. Leave these two off, because those are, well, I mean, if you want to turn them on, you can. But this is going to be the incomplete areas of Tamriel Rebuilt, and it can make future save games not work anymore. So if you don't know what you're doing, leave these two off. Turn them on only if you want to experiment with a new save or something like that. But for general use, these two, TR Preview and TR Travels, leave them off. And then once that's set, you turn off those four, you leave these two off, and then you should be able to turn on everything else. Then you can go ahead and press OK. And then we're going to go ahead and run distant lands again, which means we got to run this mgexegui application one more time. Let's go ahead and run that and go over to distant lands and distant land generator wizard. And we want to select the same that we currently have selected. So we want to turn on Morrowind Rebirth, turn off poorly placed objects, turn on Tamriel Data, turn off the two texture fixes, turn on TR mainland, and turn off the Morrowind patch, and then scroll down and make sure everything is the same as what we selected just now. Morrowind Rebirth, and leave these two, TR Preview and TR Travels, off. So we should have 6 things that are off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and everything else can be on. So then we're going to go ahead and continue and just automatic set up everything and let it do its thing. It's going to take maybe another while to do this, but yeah, just let it do its thing at this point. All right, there we go. It's now just done, and it does say 14 warnings, but you can ignore that. Just click finished, and then we can close this. Now we're just going to check the data files one more time here, make sure things are on and off, and you can see here Morrowind Rebirth 4.0 and stuff like that has been turned off. So we're going to turn those back on because that's the only ones that have been turned off. So 6 things should be turned off. Press OK on that, and then we can actually load up the rain patch if we wanted it. So let me just get that. There we go. We brought this back up here. Apel rain replacer, and we just have to open up the data files folder and drag those things. Just the meshes and textures into this the data files folder here, and we want to replace the files and do that. There we go. We don't have to turn anything on or off or anything like that, and that's going to be good. We've replaced the rain. Now, of course, the rain is an optional thing, but if you do want to change the rain like I did, then that's going to be useful. Now, the TR file patcher is actually a file patcher where you can patch your... Oh, I didn't bring in the translations txt. Let me just bring that in as well. All right, this translations txt actually has to be in this folder as well. So let's just grab that and drop that in. And there we go. So now I think we are done with those files that we've downloaded. This file patcher is actually something that you can use to patch save files to make them more compatible, but I actually didn't need to use this. But if you're having problems loading up one of your save games, you can try running this after you back up the save file. And also, under the Morrowind Overhaul, there's actually a whole page, which I'm going to link below, that's dedicated to problems with the Morrowind Overhaul. But one thing that I always face, I'm not sure why I always face this one, but one of the table models is missing. Fern de table 03.nif. And to fix that, all you have to do is go into your Morrowind folder and go into data files, go into meshes, and go into F. So let's go down to the F folder here and look for Fern de table 03. Now let's see, looking for it. There we go. Fern de table 03. And we can just delete that file. And that should actually fix the problem. The next time it does like a mini update, then that should actually be replaced and it should start working again. So at this point, we're pretty much done. Though if you're on Windows 10, remember we disabled UAC, user account controls, and that can cause certain problems. For example, if I try to open up the calculator, sometimes the calculator would just stop working at some point. So if suddenly that you can't open up folders like folders or programs or Microsoft Edge or calculator or stuff like that, you want to click on your start folder, type in UAC, and you will get this, the user account control settings. You want to turn this back on to this level and press OK, and it will apply the next time you restart your computer, and that should solve any problems. Also, just as a final fix for things, there's, for example, I still had some sound effect issues where sound effects would jump up and down like crazy volumes to really, really loud. And it's not a sound effects problem, it's more of a programming bug or glitch like that. So to fix that, I went and downloaded the most recent code patch as a separate thing and installed that and ran that. And you can see it does actually look different, but it's pretty much the same thing where you check items that you like. And I just basically left all the bug fixes on and went through the game mechanics and the visuals and just made sure all the stuff that I wanted on was on and all the stuff that I wanted off was off. And then when I ran and applied these chosen patches, then it fixed the sound effect volume jumping up and down. So in case you're still having problems with Morrowind and things still seem buggy or glitchy at some points, I've linked down below this the newer version. This is 2.3 here, and running and applying these chosen patches did actually fix the sound effect issue for me. So at this point, we should be able to launch Morrowind. Let's go ahead and press play here, and we can go ahead and press play here, and we're gonna bring up Morrowind, and everything should work really, really well. There we go, it's loading in all the extra data and extra files here. And nothing's crashed so far, which is good. So let's go ahead and load a game. All right, here we are loading into Sedanin, just one of my old saves. Now this is something that I did make compatible before. So for example, I modded the game, saved outdoors, and then I saved it again. So again, if you want to make sure that your save's okay, you want to move indoors before you start modding, but here we go, everything's working. So we did have to turn off a lot of the flora options for Morrowind Overhaul because it wouldn't be compatible, but you can see here, Morrowind Overhaul is going. You can see the rain has been replaced. Rebirth has changed the town up. You can see lots of extra buildings and the statues and stuff like that. And everything just looks really, really nice. And there we go, there's the water, it looks great. And yeah, it's really good. That extra building there, you can see if we had animated Morrowind on, it would have extra NPCs just sitting around and walking around and standing around, and that would actually, like for example, if there was someone who was meant to be sitting on that part of the ground there, and then the Morrowind Rebirth added a building there, it wouldn't look proper. And just to see, we're gonna wait an hour here. The rain should stop and the sun should be up, and we get another look at how the game looks, and it's glorious. It looks fantastic. So as you can see here, I went from a clean install of Morrowind to everything working perfectly and fine. There's the sun rising over Sedanin, and yeah, at this point you can just go ahead and enjoy the game. If we look at the map, you'll actually see the world map. The Tamriel Rebuilt is adding in the mainland. Here's one problem. If you had already a previous save and explored things and then modded the game, some of the map will actually be messed up. And you can see here I've actually completed the main quest at this point, but the whole map is unexplored, except for the local map. Local maps are still okay, but the world map gets a bit messed up. And you can see there's these boxes stuck outside here, because previously this was Vivek, but now Vivek is over there and the map has been reformed and stuff. So you can't actually get rid of these boxes unless you fly out to that point and visit it. But yeah, besides that, everything else should be working perfectly and a-okay. Alright, so that's about it for now. Hope you enjoyed this little, found this useful, this little tutorial and guide on how to install Morrowind Overhaul, Morrowind Rebirth, and Tamriel Rebuilt so that everything is working as intended and looks fantastic. There we go, we've got the water, it looks fantastic. All the textures have been replaced. We've got God rays and a lovely sun and all sorts of things. It's great. Alright, so that's going to be it for now. And if you'd like to see a Morrowind Let's Play, the main quest only, I do have that already on the channel, and I'm currently working on a Tribunal playthrough because Tribunal is going to add a lot more stuff well, there's a lot more to discover there, a lot more story. And also, if you just want a graphics comparison, I do have a video on that as well. So you can see how the game looked with just Morrowind Overhaul, the vanilla game, and with Morrowind Overhaul and Rebirth and Rebuilt. So that's going to be it for now. My name has been GamerZach. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. And I'll see you in the next video.